Hi everybody, in this video we're going to show you how to create the eligibility receiver for checking on things like the patient's deductible, copay information. We're going to show you how to do this with the eMedix clearinghouse, as well as a shortcut on how to add that receiver to all your insurance carriers in Medisoft. We'll also bring up the payer list so you can find out what the payer number is, because sometimes that payer number is different than the claims payer number for sending out your insurance claims. And then as well as where in Medisoft to enter those payer numbers into. And then finally, a place where you can test a connection using a patient example. So currently I'm in the tutorial data set in Medisoft, starting out from the revenue management screen. So from here, the place where you're going to set up the connection is you're going to click on the process menu. And then you're going to go down to change practice. You should see the list of your practice inside of this window, especially if you have multiple practices set up. Make sure that the one that you're setting up the eligibility connection to is highlighted. And then you're going to click on configure. From this screen, the connection wizard, just click on next. And then enter in your username and password, or your login name and password that you use to get inside of Medisoft. So this is the tutorial data set. I'm going to plug mine in. And it's going to take you to this list of different types of connections you can select. The one that we're looking for is the one that under the description should say eMedix eligibility. Make sure that that's the one that you're selecting, not the one that says claims, but the one that's just for eligibility. And put a check mark on the left. And then click next. On your Medisoft, I'm on version 28, but if you're a couple versions old, or maybe the previous version, you might get another screen pop up before this one, where it's going to show you a list of EDI receivers or different types of connections. For eMedix, it's typically, you have to scroll all the way towards the bottom, and you're going to look for one that says eMEV. And you'll see it on my screen here where it says communication session on the right. So before you get to this screen, you might have another window pop up. This is the one that you're looking for, the one that says eMEV. Version 28 automatically knows which one it is, and it plugs it in here. So just a tip in case you run into that on your Medisoft. And it might even show you the list of the current receivers you have inside of Medisoft. You can just click next through that screen. So at maximum, you might see 2 windows before you get here. So once you get to this screen, you're going to check on the box group practice, if you're a group practice or not. And then go make sure you put in your contact information. So here I'm just going to put in my name. And then the type is going to be telephone. And then the contact phone number for your practice. Over here on the right, where it says ISA GS submitter ID, this is going to be your TPID number, your eMedix account number. By now, you should have received an email showing you that information, your unique account number. And when we send it out, we typically put it identified as your TPID. It's usually a 3-letter combination, or sometimes it has numbers on there, but it's usually 3 characters long. So that TPID number is going to be plugged into this field. You're also going to enter it in where it says 1000A submitter ID inside of this field here. And then the third spot is going to be right where it says TPID at the very bottom. The user ID and password, this area here, the user ID is going to be your EDI web service login. So on your email that we send out, that's going to be what gets plugged into this user ID. So again, that's the EDI web service login. Then your password is the EDI web service password. So once you have all those details in, you're going to go ahead and click on next, and then next again. And then it's going to take you to this screen where it might show you additional connections that you have. Just make sure that you see one in there labeled eMEV. So if you get to this point, then that means you've done all those steps correctly. Just go ahead and accept all the defaults that pop up here. and then you're going to click on next from this screen. And finally finish. And then you're going to go back to this screen that was sitting in the background where it showed your list of practices. Just make sure it's highlighted, and then this time you're going to click on select. So you're back inside of revenue management. From here, there's a way that you can add that eligibility receiver to every single insurance carrier in your list instead of you having to go manually one by one. So from the revenue management screen, you're going to click on configure and then go down to where it says insurance and then eligibility receivers. And this is going to show you all your different insurance carriers. Right now, I had already selected it, but your screen is going to show it all blank over here in the very last column. So it'll look something like this, the way I just switched all of these to a blank record. So on your screen, you're going to highlight the very first one on your list, and you're going to go all the way to the bottom of your insurance list, hold down the shift key, and click on the last insurance. If you do this successfully, you'll see every single insurance is going to be highlighted in blue. And then from there, just on one of those carriers, you're going to click on inside of that field and then select eMev on just one of them. And once you do that, you'll notice that every single one gets populated with that receiver. Before you close out of this screen, make sure you click on save so it keeps that record. And now you can close out of it. So those are the steps to create the receiver inside of Metasoft. If you ever need to go back and just double check if you did it correctly, you can go to this configure menu, go down to receivers, and then make sure you have one in there labeled eMev for eMedix eligibility. Now I'm going to show you the payer list where you can locate those different payer numbers that you're going to plug into each insurance. Unfortunately, there's not a way we can just put in the numbers for every single insurance. This is something that you do have to go into each insurance and make sure that the correct payer number is entered. The way you can look it up is on the website or on any web browser. You're going to go to this website. I was already looking up one here for Medicare. You're going to go to type in online.emedix us.com/payer list. And this is going to take you to this screen right here. It's going to actually show, most likely it's going to default it to claims in the transaction type screen like this. Make sure that you change this when you get to this website from claims to eligibility. Once you have eligibility pulled up, you're just going to type in the name of that payer that you're looking for. So the example I was looking for earlier was Medicare. So you just type in the insurance name Medicare and then click search. Now you'll notice Medicare, it lists a lot of different names on there, and that's just because the word Medicare is within the name of some of these plans. A lot of these are maybe they're employee specific plans. The one that's the national or the state type plan, like for your Arizona Medicare or Texas Medicare, Florida Medicare, it's going to be the one that's just labeled Medicare. So you see the one that I'm highlighting here. This is going to be the eligibility payer number, and that's going to be on that first column. So that's the number that you're going to grab from this website, copy it, and you're going to head over to your Metasoft insurance list. So list, insurance carriers, and you're going to see you might have a column in there already for claims payer ID number. We're going to add an extra column on this screen so that you can quickly see if you have an eligibility payer number already entered in. The way you do that is by clicking on this black dot to the left of the code column. This brings up your grid columns window, and then from here, it's as easy as just going to add fields and then search for primary eligibility payer ID. You'll highlight it, click OK again, and now you've got your extra column there for primary eligibility payer number. So you can notice here, Aetna has one plugged in there. Down here is our Medicare one, and it has a claims payer number, but not an eligibility payer ID. So just go ahead and double click on Medicare, whatever plan it is, head over to the EDI eligibility tab. And then from here, you'll click on or right click and just copy it inside of the eligibility payer ID field. Make sure that number's in there. So in this example, Medicare is different with their eligibility payer number versus their claims payer number. Sometimes they're the same, but in order to make sure, you want to compare it inside of this screen here, because this is the official eMedix clearinghouse payer list for eligibility. So just make sure that the transaction type does say eligibility, and then just type in your different payers. So like Cigna, you'll see one that's the main national Cigna plan will be listed right there. Copy that code and then paste it inside of Metasoft. So once you have your eligibility payer number plugged in, make sure you save it. A way that you can test this out is by just pulling up a patient's case. Just go to your patient list, highlight someone with that plan, go inside of their case, double click on the case. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see an eligibility button that you can click on. So you click on eligibility. It'll show this screen that pops up. The first thing you're going to do is click on verify. If you don't get any error messages, a couple places are going to light up in green. It'll say completed or success. And then you'll click on view eligibility so you can see all the details. If something errors out, there might have been an issue with the connection, maybe with the login information. Feel free to reach out to us. We can take a look at it a little bit closer. But that's how you can create your eligibility connection and look up your eligibility payer numbers. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, thanks for watching our video. If you want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and also do us a favor and click that like button. Thanks again and see you on the next one.